So Bill's in Florida, and every time I call him, he tells me how hot it is in Florida. This is what Bill is doing in Florida. He's walking the dog, and the dog's climbing the tree, and Bill's wearing shorts, and they're watching the dog, and they're training him, I guess, and then he comes down. So that's what Bill's doing in Florida. While we're all here working hard, Bill is playing with the dog in the tree. Okay, all done.
Oh yeah, man. This week we're working on Obsessive again. Last week we worked on the back seat. We had worked on the pattern. We finished the back seat basically. We've got the diamond stitch happening. We've got some suede and a different vinyl to offset the other leather. We're working on trying to get the suede look into the side panels. We've got a pattern that we want to flow through the car. We're going to be somewhat here to the suede so that it will tie in the side of the back of the seat.
You shouldn't be allowed to hold sharp objects.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Like that's like the whole gun license thing. They want me to tell the government that I feel like Chris is a good person.
Oh yeah, no, see, it's weird. I'll give him a gun.
I'm like, are you sure? You want me to?
Seriously, I'm ex-military.
Which means you know how to use it, which is even worse.
Exactly, and they trusted me, and they paid me to hold a gun and shoot stuff. So what we have here is a custom-made chopper that we're working with a client on. So what we actually had to do is English wheel a whole new top part of the tank to get this nice flow, get the recessed gaslit in it and everything like that. Did all the body work on it, painted it this beautiful metallic orange, sent it off to a good buddy of mine, Steve Dunn, who does all this airbrushing. The guy's phenomenal. Everything that you see is black is all freehand. Doesn't do stencils, doesn't do anything. Has to obviously do some tape lines for all these colors because they're very sharp and everything like that. Not a lot of people know about local airbrushers. Everybody thinks you have to go to Toronto, you have to go to California, you have to go all over the world. When we have a guy like this locally that is just so talented, it's crazy.
This is my celebratory iced coffee for winning the bet.
Coffee at home, so I lost. But I did not have any coffee at work, so to me that's a win. But on the plus side, look at the freaking sweet coffee maker we got now. It's good. It means I get to drink more coffee more often.
If you wanted to.
I could have lied.
You could have lied to me and not admitted that he had one coffee at home.
It's still a victory for me because I did not have a single coffee for a week at work.
Agreed.
It didn't really do anything.
Good for your mind, good for your body.
Good for my mind, I went retarded.
Let's discuss Miss Potty Mouth's bet. How's that going?
Oh, I lost that bet a long time ago.
You lost that bet the first hour and a half.
First 10 minutes.
You know what Derek doesn't know though is that I lost in front of Chad and had to go, Chad, shh, I pay you. Don't tell anybody.
You lost in front of everybody.
And then I lost in front of Jeff and I had to go, Jeff, shh, I pay you. Don't
You
tell
lost
anybody.
in front of Derek right away.
And then,
Like,
well, no,
right
then
away.
then I lost in front of Derek.
Yeah, she lost twice
I had
before
already
Derek.
lost twice before I lost in front of Derek, so.
This is a 1977 MG that a customer brought in for a complete rewire and to make sure that everything is up and running and working properly because he had just had the engine rebuilt, so we're just going to make sure that it's good to go basically. So if you come over here and take a look, what we've done so far, is all the blue here is all the new wiring harness that was purchased and put in. This wasn't made by us. This was a bought factory harness, a reproduction that we put back in the car. Got everything working, everything's up and running. The engine actually starts, everything works fine, except we have a couple of oil leaks from some fittings. So what we did was we ordered the parts and we're going to wait for them to come in. We are going to replace the fittings and the parts so we have no more leaks. We want everything to be dry, and then this thing will be good to go back to the customer.
Don't film me, I'm trying to film you.
Don't film anybody.
Behind the scenes, filming at Xcentrick.
behind the scenes filming at Xcentrick.
Education of the day, it's tinker.
I know it's tinker.
Not tinkle, because I do not tinkle with cars all day.
Tinker?
Yes, I tinker with cars and swear at cars, but I do not tinkle.
They don't let me live it down. They still, every once in a while, bring up the fact that I said tinkle with cars instead of tinker with cars. Family where your dad is a race car driver at heart, and your brother doesn't want to do anything other than tinkle with cars all day. But whatever, it was a good video, it doesn't matter. It's all good.
Today, the cameraman teaches the mechanics how to drill properly.
That's it. Okay, here's the motor. Last week or about a week and a half ago, we got it up on this engine stand. We had to break the motor in. It was a brand new motor. Before we broke it in, I had to pull the oil pan off it, check under the rods and the crank and stuff like that, just to make sure everything was good to go. Put it all together, put distributor in it, we got some water in it, we got oil pressure, and we got it running last week. Customer come in, was ecstatic. It sounds like a rocket ship, this thing. It sounds so good. So today I'm trying to get the trunk all finished up here. Somebody has, when the customer brought us the vehicle, they have put a new trunk in it. The old trunk must have been rotten. So they have put a new trunk in the vehicle. So what I'm doing now is going around, spot welding it in where it hasn't been welded, clean all the edges up, and putting some black seam seal on all the edges so that it repels water and it kind of bonds to the older metal. Once I get all that done, we have some stuff, some matting that we put on in the trunk. It not only does it keep the sound and everything down, it also helps with the seam seal the trunk from the new metal to the old metal.
Lloyd makes me feel like less of a man. Okay, there you go. He cut his finger from almost his nail down to his second knuckle, completely open like a baked potato.
Like a hot dog
is what
in
it
a
looked like.
microwave.
Like a hot dog in a microwave is what it looked like.
With a grinder.
And he sits there and he's covering it like this. He's wiping it off. He's looking at it and he's like, "Jess, I think I gotta go to the doctor's." It's like,
But
really,
not
dude?
but not until
I
3
know.
hours later.
So he leaves, gets stitched, comes back to work like half an hour later. "Okay, I'm good to go. Give me gloves." And he just starts working again like there was nothing wrong. And he had, what was it? It was 12 stitches? 10 stitches in the top of his finger. And he's like, "Yeah, whatever, I'm good." And I'm sitting there going, I took a day off for a cold and I feel horrible.
It was split from the from the knuckle to here. Opened up, he stitched me up, come back, put some tape on, and went back to work. What's the difference? These guys make too much of that little stuff.
So what we have here this week is the 1968 Mustang Fastback that we've just finished doing all the paint on it. In one of our previous recordings, we saw that we're just laying out all the tape lines and everything where we want the black to be versus where we want the carbon fiber to be. So we masked everything off that we wanted to stay carbon fiber, painted everything else black, and then did about 5 coats of clear on it, so everything's nice and sealed. We'll have lots of material to do a wet sand and polish with, which is like a leveling of the paint once it's all said and done. On this car, it's hard to tell because it did lay down really, really nice. You can feel the stripes over here, but not here. This is where I started doing a wet sand and polish. And to be a little bit more descriptive of it, this bike is about at the same stage. So what we've done is originally we painted the bike orange. We sanded it, we handed it to our airbrusher, who did all the artwork and paint and everything on it. Now, as you might be able to see in a reflection, you can see and feel all the different layers of the paint. So we actually take this and we sand it down with an original, or we start off with about a 1500 grit, work all the way up to about a 3000 grit, which ends up giving you this look, which is all flat, like a satin finish, but you can't feel anything. So you're taking off the high spots, you're leveling everything out, you're getting rid of the low spots, high spots, and just making it so you can't feel it. And then when you're all said and done, we go through a 3-stage polishing process, which ends up giving you this effect. So it goes back to almost looking like you can really reach your hand into it, but without feeling any difference between any of the colors. So if you had your eyes closed, you wouldn't be able to feel that there's anything on this versus the oil tank, which hasn't been done, where you can actually feel all the different colors all the way through. So that being said, this car has to go through that process. We started a little bit just as some testing, but the clear is really, really fresh now. So this is literally right how it came out of the gun. So now we're doing some assembly, and as we keep going, we're going to start wet sanding, and this thing is going to turn out looking like glass when it's done.
Okay, if I was stranded on an island, who from the shop would I want?
to be stranded with. Not Jessie.
I pay. What? Does nobody care about
Just because you're like, hey, pick me. I'm not gonna pick you now.
I don't know, I just feel like Jeff would he'd entertain me until I died.
I wouldn't want to be stuck on an island with Jeff.
Probably Jeff.
What the f does everybody pick Jeff for?
I wouldn't pick any of you. I'd pick my wife.
my brother? Probably my brother, because I know him the best. So no surprises. I don't think I want to know what Chad does when he's stranded alone on an island.
I'd pick Chris. I'd pick Chris.
Military, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Chris is in the military. He knows how to hunt, fish, build, shelter and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it would probably be Bill, because him and I have the same interest, and that's obviously stock car racing.
So is today one of the Jesus sandals or socks halfway up the shins day?
Half up the shins. It's still cool. It's only 75.
We would like an update on the cars from Florida.
I'm told that every one of them is close to completion.
And they run like monsters.
Everybody's working really hard on them, and all the customers are very happy. And by the time I get back, we'll have another half dozen new cars in there. And as always, if you like what you see, which I know you will, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Xcentrick Autosports.